Have you ever called yourself lazy when deep down you knew something else was wrong? Be honest for a second. You wake up in the morning. The alarm rings. Your hand reaches for the phone before your brain even turns on. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, news, messages, more scrolling. 10 minutes becomes 30. 30 becomes an hour. And suddenly the day has already started, but you already feel tired. Not physically, mentally, like your brain is dragging a damn truck behind it. So you tell yourself the usual lie. Man, I'm just lazy. But here's the truth most people never hear. You're not lazy. Your brain is exhausted. And the worst part? You're the one draining it every single day. Think about how your day actually works. The moment you wake up, your brain gets hit with a flood of noise. Notifications, messages, emails, social media, videos, endless opinions from strangers. Before your feet even touch the floor, your brain has already processed more information than people did in a whole day 30 years ago. And then you wonder why focusing feels like hell. You sit down to work, open your laptop, and suddenly your brain says, "Let's check something real quick." You know exactly what happens next. One tab becomes five. Five tabs become a rabbit hole. And before you know it, you're watching some random video about a guy building a cabin in the woods with no tools. 2 hours gone. And now the guilt kicks in. You look at the clock. Damn, what the hell is wrong with me? You feel behind. You feel weak. You feel like everyone else has their life together while you're stuck fighting your own brain. So you push harder. You try to force motivation. You open another productivity video, another podcast, another morning routine from some guy who wakes up at 4 a.m. and runs a marathon before breakfast. And for a moment, you feel inspired. But the next day, same cycle. Same scrolling, same exhaustion, same voice in your head whispering, "You're wasting your life." And that voice hurts, because part of you knows it might be true. You have dreams, big ones. You've imagined a different life, more freedom, more money, more control, a version of you that's sharper, stronger, dangerous in a good way. But instead, you're sitting there staring at a glowing rectangle for 6 hours a day, and it's draining the hell out of you. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to admit. Your brain was never designed for this level of stimulation, not even close. Your mind evolved to focus on survival, hunting, building, solving real problems, one challenge at a time. But modern life? It's a non-stop dopamine circus. Your brain gets hit with tiny rewards every few seconds. Scroll, reward. New video, reward. Notification, reward. Like, reward. It feels harmless, but slowly, quietly, it fries your focus. Your brain starts expecting constant stimulation, fast hits, quick rewards, instant entertainment. So when it's time to do something that actually matters, work, study, build something real, your brain rebels. It screams, "This is boring." And suddenly focusing for even 20 minutes feels like climbing a damn mountain. So again, you call yourself lazy. But lazy people don't feel this much frustration. Lazy people don't lie awake at night thinking about the life they could be living. Lazy people don't feel that burning anger when they realize another day just slipped through their fingers. That anger, that frustration, that quiet voice inside you saying, "This can't be it," that's not laziness. That's your brain fighting a system that's hijacking it. And if you don't understand what's really happening, you'll spend years blaming yourself for a problem that was engineered to trap you. But the real wake-up call, the real moment that hits like a punch to the gut, is realizing this. Your brain isn't broken. It's just being slowly trained to stay weak. And if you don't take control of it soon, someone else already has. When did you last sit in silence without touching your phone? Seriously. No music, no scrolling, no videos playing in the background. Just you, your thoughts, your brain. Most people can't do it for 5 damn minutes, not because they're weak, because their brain has been trained to panic in silence.
The moment things get quiet, something uncomfortable shows up. Thoughts, questions, regret. Why am I not where I thought I'd be? Why do I keep wasting time? What the hell am I doing with my life? And that's exactly why people run back to their phones. Distraction is easier than honesty. So they scroll, again and again and again. Every swipe is like pressing the mute button on reality. But here's the ugly truth. Every time you escape into distraction, your brain loses a little bit of strength. Focus is like a muscle. And right now, most people's focus is weak as hell. Not because they're stupid, not because they lack potential, but because they've trained their brain to expect constant entertainment. Imagine trying to read a book after spending 3 hours watching 10-second videos. Your brain goes crazy. It feels slow, painfully slow. Your mind keeps whispering, "This is boring. Let's check something real quick. Just one video." And that's how the trap works. You don't lose your focus in one day. It gets stolen little by little. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, a few hours at night. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into years, and suddenly you look up and realize something terrifying. You're busy all the time, but you're not moving forward. Your schedule is full, your brain is overloaded, but your life still stuck in the same place. And that realization hits hard. You see other people building things, businesses, skills, careers, strong bodies, strong minds, and you wonder, how the hell do they do it? Are they smarter, more talented, more disciplined? No. Most of the time, the difference is much simpler. They protect their brain. They guard their attention like it's gold, because they understand something most people ignore. Your attention is your life. Whatever holds your attention eventually shapes your future. If your attention belongs to algorithms, your life will slowly belong to them too. Think about it. Some of the smartest engineers on the planet work inside tech companies designing apps to keep you scrolling. They study human psychology, dopamine triggers, habit loops, addiction patterns, not to help you focus, but to keep you hooked. Because the longer you stay, the more money they make. That's the game. And right now, millions of people are losing that game without even realizing it. They wake up tired. They go to bed tired. Their brain feels foggy. Their motivation feels weak. And they think the problem is laziness. But laziness isn't the disease. Mental exhaustion is. Your brain is drowning in stimulation. Too many inputs, too many decisions, too many tiny hits of dopamine. It's like trying to sprint while someone keeps throwing weights on your back. Of course you're tired. Of course you can't focus. Of course everything feels harder than it should be. But here's the part nobody tells you, the scary part. If you let this continue for years, your brain adapts to it. Your attention span shrinks. Your patience disappears. Deep thinking becomes uncomfortable. And slowly, without noticing, you become easier to control. Easier to distract, easier to keep average. And average is exactly where the system wants you. Comfortable, entertained, quiet. Not dangerous, not focused, not powerful. Just another distracted mind in the crowd. But something inside you already knows this isn't the life you want. That's why you're here listening. That's why something inside your chest feels restless. Because deep down, your brain remembers what it feels like to be sharp, to focus, to build something real. And the moment you start reclaiming your attention, everything begins to change. But the first step is realizing something brutal. Nobody is coming to fix your brain. Not your boss, not your friends, not some motivational video. If you don't take your mind back, the world will happily keep renting it from you. And trust me, they're making a fortune off it.
Let me ask you something brutal. When was the last time you pushed your brain past comfort? Not scrolling, not consuming, not researching while opening 20 useless tabs. I mean real effort. The kind that makes your mind feel heavy. The kind where you sit with a problem for an hour and your brain starts screaming, "Screw this, let's do something easier." Yeah, that feeling. Most people avoid it like hell.
Because modern life gives you an escape hatch every 30 seconds. The moment things get uncomfortable, your hand automatically reaches for the phone. Just a quick check, just a second, just a tiny hit of distraction. But here's what you don't realize. Every time you escape discomfort, your brain learns something. It learns that quitting is easier than pushing. It learns that boredom must be avoided. It learns that focus is optional. And slowly, without you noticing, your brain becomes addicted to the easy path. Comfort becomes the default setting. Hard things start to feel impossible. That's why someone can sit and binge videos for 4 hours straight, but can't focus on their own goals for 20 minutes. It's not because they're incapable. It's because their brain has been rewired for instant reward. Think about how crazy that is. Your mind, the most powerful tool you have, is now competing against endless entertainment designed by psychologists and engineers. You versus an army of algorithms. And the algorithms never sleep. They know exactly how long you watch a video, exactly what makes you pause, exactly what triggers curiosity, exactly what keeps you scrolling. Every second you stay, they learn more about you. Your attention becomes data. Your habits become patterns. Your weaknesses become profit. Meanwhile, your goals sit in the corner collecting dust. That idea you had, that business you wanted to start, that skill you promised yourself you'd learn. Still waiting, still sitting there, while your brain keeps chasing the next tiny hit of stimulation. And deep down you feel it, that uncomfortable realization. You're not tired because life is too hard. You're tired because your brain is constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. Notifications, videos, news, messages, drama, opinions, arguments. Your mind never gets a break, never gets silence, never gets space to actually think. Imagine trying to run a marathon while someone keeps poking you every 10 seconds. That's your brain right now. Constant interruptions, constant noise, constant mental fatigue. No wonder you feel drained. But here's where things get interesting. Because once you understand what's happening, something inside you starts waking up. You begin to notice the trap. You catch yourself reaching for the phone out of pure habit. Not because you need it, not because it's important, just because your brain is bored for 3 seconds. That moment is powerful because it reveals something most people never see. Your habits are running your life. Not your intentions, not your dreams, not your goals. Your habits. And right now, most people's habits are built around distraction. Wake up, phone. Work break, phone. Waiting in line, phone. Before sleep, phone. Hours gone. Days gone. Years gone. All quietly traded for tiny bursts of dopamine. And the scariest part, it feels normal. Everyone around you is doing the same thing. Look around any room. People sitting together but staring at screens. Brains constantly stimulated but rarely focused. Connected to the internet, disconnected from their own lives. That's the silent epidemic nobody talks about. Not laziness, mental captivity. But the moment you recognize it, you start asking a dangerous question. If my brain is this powerful, if my focus is this valuable, why the hell am I giving it away for free? That question changes everything. Because once you see the trap, you can't unsee it. And that's the moment your brain starts fighting back.
Let's be brutally honest for a second. Your phone isn't the real problem. Your brain isn't broken either. The real problem? You've trained yourself to run from difficulty. And once that pattern takes over, it quietly controls your entire life. Think about it. Every time something feels hard, confusing, slow, or uncomfortable, your brain immediately looks for an exit. Open a new tab, check a notification, watch something quick. Just enough stimulation to escape the friction. And it works. For a moment. But every time you escape that friction, you weaken the part of your brain that builds real strength. Because growth only happens inside that uncomfortable zone. The zone where your brain says, this is difficult, this is slow, this is frustrating. That's the exact place most people quit. And that's why most people never become dangerous thinkers, never build anything meaningful, never unlock the full power of their own mind. Because they've been trained to avoid the mental pain required to grow. Here's the irony. People say they want success. They want a better life, more freedom, more money, more control over their future. But they're unwilling to sit in mental discomfort for even 30 minutes. 30 minutes? That's the brutal reality. The same brain that can binge 10 episodes of a show suddenly feels exhausted when it has to concentrate on something difficult. Not because the task is impossible, because the brain has been conditioned to reject effort. It's like a muscle that hasn't been used in years. The first time you try to train it, everything hurts. Your focus slips. Your mind wanders. You feel restless. Your brain begs for stimulation. Let's check something real quick. Just 5 minutes. Come on, screw this. And that's where the real battle begins. Not with the outside world, not with your job, not with your circumstances. The battle is between two versions of you. One version wants comfort, easy dopamine, quick distraction. The other version wants something bigger, growth, strength, control. And every single day, those two versions fight for control of your brain. Most people let the weaker version win, because comfort feels good in the moment. But comfort has a hidden cost. It slowly erodes your confidence. Every unfinished task, every delayed goal, every promise you make to yourself and break, your brain notices. And a quiet thought starts growing in the background. Maybe I'm just not that disciplined. Maybe I'm not capable. Maybe this is just who I am. That thought is dangerous as hell. Because the moment you start believing it, you stop trying. You lower your expectations. You settle for average. But here's the truth that hits like a punch. Your brain is far more adaptable than you think. Right now, it might feel foggy, distracted, mentally tired. But that's not permanent. That's conditioning. Your brain has simply been trained to chase easy rewards, which means something powerful. It can be trained back. But this is where most people fail. They try to change everything overnight. Delete every app, wake up at 5 a.m., read 10 books, work 12 hours, meditate, exercise, become a productivity machine. And what happens? They burn out in 3 days. Because real transformation doesn't start with motivation, it starts with awareness. The moment you see the patterns controlling your life, you start gaining power over them. You notice the urge to escape. You notice the moment your brain looks for distraction. And instead of instantly reacting, you pause, just for a second. That tiny pause is where your control begins. Because that pause reminds you of something most people forget. You are not your impulses. You are the one who decides what happens next. And once that realization hits, the entire game starts to change.
Here's the moment most people never reach. The moment where you stop blaming motivation and start understanding discipline. Because motivation is a liar. Motivation shows up when things feel exciting. New year, new goals, new energy. You watch a powerful video, you feel fired up. You promise yourself this time will be different. For a few days, maybe a week, you feel unstoppable. You wake up early, you focus, you push yourself. And then something happens. The excitement fades. The novelty disappears. And suddenly the same task that felt inspiring now feels heavy as hell. Your brain whispers, "Not today. Let's start tomorrow. You deserve a break." And if your system depends on motivation, that's where everything collapses. Because motivation is emotional, and emotions are unstable. One bad day, one stressful week, one moment of boredom, and motivation disappears. That's why most people stay stuck in the same cycle for years. They keep waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel inspired, waiting to feel confident. But here's the brutal truth. Nobody who built something real waited for motivation. They built systems. Small, boring, powerful systems. Not heroic bursts of effort, not insane overnight transformations, just simple actions repeated again and again until the brain adapts. Because your brain learns through repetition. You don't become focused by watching productivity content. You become focused by practicing focus. You don't become disciplined by feeling inspired. You become disciplined by doing things even when you don't feel like it. That's the part people hate, the boring middle. The quiet grind where nobody is clapping for you. No likes, no applause, no recognition. Just you and the decision to keep going. And this is where the real shift happens, because something interesting starts to occur inside your brain. At first, focus feels painful. Your mind wanders. You feel restless. Every few minutes, your brain screams for distraction. But if you push through that discomfort, something changes. Your attention begins to stretch. Your mental endurance grows, the same way muscles grow after resistance. You start realizing you can actually sit with a difficult task longer than you thought. 20 minutes becomes 40. 40 becomes an hour. Your brain slowly relearns how to concentrate. And when that happens, something powerful returns. Clarity. The fog begins to lift. Your thoughts become sharper. Your decisions become faster. You feel more in control of your own mind. And that feeling is addictive in the best way possible. Because once you experience real mental clarity again, scrolling for hours suddenly feels empty, pointless, like junk food for your brain. You start protecting your attention. You start noticing how easily the world tries to steal it. And the crazy part is, most people will never reach this stage. Not because they can't, but because they quit too early. They experience the discomfort of rebuilding focus and assume something is wrong. But that discomfort is the sign that your brain is waking up. That's the moment your mind is rebuilding strength. And if you stay in that process long enough, your brain becomes something dangerous. Not easily distracted, not easily manipulated, not easily controlled. A mind that can focus deeply in a world addicted to distraction becomes extremely powerful. And that's exactly why so few people develop it. Because the system profits from your distraction. But the moment you take control of your attention, you take control of your life. And that's when everything starts to change.
Now here's the moment most people avoid. The moment where the excuses die. Because once you understand what's really happening inside your brain, you can't hide behind the word lazy anymore. You know the truth now. Your brain isn't weak. It's just been trained badly. Years of constant stimulation, endless scrolling, quick dopamine hits. They've slowly conditioned your mind to chase the easy path. But conditioning works both ways. If your brain can be trained into distraction, it can be trained back into power. And this is where your real life starts. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, right now. Because nobody is coming to fix your habits. Nobody is coming to take the phone out of your hand. Nobody is coming to build your discipline for you. Wake the hell up. This is your mind, your attention, your future. And every single day you either strengthen it or you weaken it. Every moment you choose focus over distraction, you win a small battle. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of escaping it, your brain grows stronger. At first, it feels slow, almost invisible.
But those small wins stack up. One focused hour, then another. One day where you control your attention, then another. And suddenly, something strange happens. You start trusting yourself again. That quiet voice inside your head changes. It stops saying, maybe I'm just lazy, and starts saying, damn, I'm actually in control. That shift is powerful, because confidence doesn't come from motivation. Confidence comes from evidence. Evidence that you can do hard things. Evidence that you can keep promises to yourself. Evidence that your brain is capable of far more than you believed. And once you start building that evidence, the world around you begins to feel different, clearer, quieter. You notice things other people miss. You see opportunities where others see problems. While most people are trapped in endless distraction, you are building, learning, creating, growing stronger. And here's the wild part. The same brain that once felt tired, foggy, and overwhelmed becomes the most powerful weapon you have. A focused mind in a distracted world is rare, dangerously rare, because a focused person doesn't drift through life. They choose their direction, they build momentum, they turn small actions into massive results over time, not through luck, through control. And it all starts with one brutal realization. You were never lazy. You were overstimulated, distracted, mentally exhausted. But now you know. Now you see the trap. And once you see it, you have a choice. You can keep numbing your mind with endless noise, keep scrolling, keep delaying the life you know you're capable of. Or you can do something most people never do. Take your brain back. Protect your attention. Train your focus like it's the most valuable skill you'll ever build. Because in this world, it probably is. So the next time your brain whispers, let's scroll for a while, stop for a second, look at the screen, and ask yourself one honest question. Am I escaping my life?